Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a video on my Fashion Week experiences from the shows of Spring Summer 2016 that just happened in September. So I'm really excited because Fashion Week has basically just wrapped up, I think in Paris. So what better time than now? So yeah, I'm just going to go through the things that I've done and tips as well to get involved during Fashion Week and stuff. So yeah, so okay, the first day of New York Fashion Week, well, the day before New York Fashion Week, I was a dresser backstage for V-Files. Yeah, so I was a dresser there, and it was in Soho, the show, and it was the day, they always have their show the day before official Fashion Week starts. So that was a pretty good experience. It wasn't it's probably my least exciting show, but I know Migos performed, a lot of celebs came out to the show, and the kind of theme, V-Files is like, it features a lot of different designers, especially upcoming designers, and they're very different. The looks are very eclectic, very just different. So it was kind of some weird kind of fashion looks backstage, but it was cool. Yeah, so that was my first Fashion Week show was V-Files. Then on Thursday, I was supposed to do Leanne Marshall, I believe, but I overslept, which is bad because you really should seize every opportunity you have. So I'm really upset that I missed that one, but I was supposed to dress for Leanne Marshall's. And then my next show, I believe, was Saturday, and that one was Christian Siriano and from Project Runway, if you don't know who he is. And I absolutely love him. He's CFDA certified. He's probably one of the, that show is probably one of my favorite shows that I've done. And at the show, they gave us a pass. And this is how the pass looks like. It says Christian Siriano. And that was kind of near the meatpacking district, I believe. And it was so cool. When I first walked into the venue, I saw him, and it was just kind of like a shock because I wasn't expecting to see him that soon. But the collection was beautiful. The shoes were beautiful. Celebs were coming backstage, taking pictures. Voss from Orange is the New Black was there. June Amber Rose was there. So there's a lot of celebs backstage, a lot of picture taking, a lot of press. And I dressed one model, I believe, for that show, and it was just a successful show. It was a beautiful collection. I just loved the scenery. It was amazing. And after the show, all of the dressers and workers backstage got to take a picture with Christian Siriano. We're supposed to get that picture sent to us, but I haven't received it yet. But that was just such a great experience. I loved it. It was amazing. And I did a little bit of networking in that show as well. And then my third show was on Monday, I believe. Yeah, my third show was on Monday. And no. Okay, no, my third show was actually the same day. It was on Saturday evening, afternoon, or whatever. And on Friday, I was making these headbands for the runway show at the workroom. And then on Saturday was at the show. It was the designer T. Tandon. I believe she was an FIT student, but I think it was her first show for Fashion Week as well. So we did made headbands for the show on Friday, and then Saturday was her show, and that was in Soho as well. The venue was really nice, but it wasn't an actual runway. It was kind of like a bar area kind of thing. It was just a very cool vibe. I liked how it was just kind of like a very chill kind of vibe. But it was like, it wasn't really like a real big designer show, but it was still an experience in itself. I had to steam garments before the show started, put the headbands on the models, so it was an experience nonetheless. Yeah, and then my next show after that was one Monday, and that was actually at the Skyline, and that's where all the fashion shows were taking place, which was exciting. Now the thing is, okay, I came late to volunteer, well, to dress for the show. I came late. So, I actually was turned away, basically. They were like, "You're late?" So, yeah, you can't work. But it was for Concept Korea, and this is the pass for Concept Korea. And yeah, they were like, you're late, so you can't help. And I was just like, because it's embarrassing. It's not professional, and I could have been on my part. I shouldn't have been late. And I wasn't the only one who was late. I was late with this other girl because I guess she was kind of lost. She didn't know where to go in, so we were both late. So we both turned away, but we still had our passes. So we went through the main entrance. We went outside to the main entrance, and we actually were able to go in and watch the show because we still had our passes. So that was like a big thumbs up because I was like, yes. So I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But it ended up working out because we were able to watch the show. It was an amazing collection. I think it was 2 designers who were showing for Concept Korea, and it was an amazing show, and it was a great experience because it was my first show this season watching. So that was so amazing. I was like so nervous, but you gotta hustle out here. Like if you can't dress for the show, you should try and go for the show. So we went in and they let us through, and it was great. And then I stayed in the venue afterward. There's like Tresemme. They were doing Tresemme gives out free samples of their stuff. Not samples, but actually real things. Then there was Argan tea, I believe, that were giving out free tea, unsweetened tea. And I was just there looking through magazines. You can get a lot of magazines, and sitting, chilling, waiting. And then I realized Jeremy Scott was having a show at the same venue, just on the other side. So I was waiting, and I was so hungry, and I was like so tired because I woke up so early for the show. But I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if I can somehow get in. So there's all these people are dressing up in Machino and going in for the show, and I'm just like, okay, so it is here. This is exciting, but I don't know if I'm gonna get in. And then there's like a crowd of people who are standing, waiting to get into the show, to just stand, not to sit, but to stand. So when they let those people in, girl, I was right there with them. I ran in with them, and I kind of dodged security. So I was able to get in. I had a seat. It was kind of like towards the back, but I had a seat there. And it was a really huge runway show. And it was a very retro, kind of 60s inspired collection, but it was so cool. So I was like, at Jeremy Scott show, this is so crazy. So it was so cool to watch the second show of that day, which was really cool. And then afterwards I bumped into Nikki Hilton and Yaz from Empire, took pictures with them, and that was pretty cool. After the show, then I went home, and then the next day, it was Tuesday, and I was able to go to Angela Simmons' fashion show she was designing for the Harlem Globetrotters. So I was able to go to that event and walk the red carpet. It was my first red carpet event ever. So it was super exciting. I walked the red carpet in my own design. I saw Ziggy Simmons, but he was heading to the red carpet, so I didn't say anything. But I took pictures with Rich Dollars, Mano, Mac Wild, Duchess from Black Ink. So many people were there. Justine Skye. So I went to that show, so a lot of celebs there. It was a really great collection. It was so cool. We got to meet Angela Simmons afterwards, took a picture with her, and it was just such a great experience because like my first red carpet, my first time really being in a scenario around fashion people, around celebs. I saw Beyonce stylist Ty Hunter, and he was just super sweet. So it was just like super exciting, to kind of have that type of experience, and the show was great. Met some people, networked with some people, so that was like the highlight of my fashion week, was the red carpet, Angela Simmons. So shout out to Angela Simmons. I love her. She goes to FIT now too. So I don't know. I love her. So that was probably the best experience that I had this season during Fashion Week. And then on Wednesday, I did Marcatia. I dressed for Marcatia, and let me tell you, they have elite stuff. Their clothing is beautiful. If you've never heard of Marcatia, or if you've heard of them but haven't really seen their stuff, definitely check out their stuff. Their stuff is amazing, like looking like true couture work. It's just beautiful, and it was just amazing to be in that vicinity. It was at a hotel on the Upper East Side. So beautiful, so nice. Just models behind backstage for that show. It was just so like elite. The models got like free like fuzzy slippers, free Uggs. Like it was just like a lush, beautiful, high fashion show. So that was really cool to do. Yeah, so I did Marquesha, and I met a girl who went to my school from the Marquesha show, and we ended up bumping into each other after we left, after we got off the train, and they were having this kind of street fashion show basically outside of the Mohegan skyline. And it was like with these very African print. It was so cool, and the lady who judges for America's Next Top Model was leading it. She was so sweet. She was talking to everybody, and it was so cool to see like kind of like a street fashion show. It was amazing. Photographers just like clicking away, and then we went back into the venue at New York Fashion Week. The shows, we went in there, and we actually gotten to go to another show, which was the Greg Lauren show, and we went in there. We saw that, you know, we kind of like asked security if we could go in, even though we didn't have tickets, and they let us in. And that was probably, I don't know, I keep saying this for all of them, but that was probably like the best collection that I seen, like with my own eyes at Fashion Week. Like that collection, I wanted every piece. It was very rustic, it was very kind of distressed, but it was so beautiful. So I love that. And then I got like on the chairs, there were like these kind of like blankets that he used in his collection, like the fabric. So I took 2 of those blankets, so I might make things out of it or use it as actual blankets, but I don't know, people sat on it, so maybe I'll just use it as fabric to make something. I washed it and stuff, but it was just beautiful. I love like the little cards he gave out with the fabric that he used and like the seating. It was just a beautiful collection. I didn't know I'd really like that kind of aesthetic, but I loved it. So we went into that show, which was amazing. And then Thursday was the last day of New York Fashion Week, and I went to the Macy's. I got invited to someone invited me to the Macy's show at Madison Square Garden, and it was just basically showing Macy's collections. I believe Tommy Hilfiger was there, Heidi Klum was there. I saw her before we actually walked into Madison Square Garden. Heidi Klum was there. I think Raven Simone was there. Cynthia Bailey was there. Yeah, so I went to the Macy's show, front row. I didn't sit in the front row, but it's called Macy's Front Row fashion show, and that was really good. People from Fashion Police were there. So it was a really good show, and it's a really great way to end off New York Fashion Week. I was there with girls at my church, so it was a really great way to end off New York Fashion Week. And yeah. So overall, I just have to say my experience for New York Fashion Week was just amazing. I felt like I met a lot of people. I felt like I connect with a lot of people. I want to connect more. I want to talk to people more, like give out my business card more. I'm kind of awkward, but I think I'm getting there, and it was just an amazing experience. And I just encourage, if you're in New York area, especially during your Fashion Week, dress the best that you can and try to get into shows if you can, and try to just be in the vicinity of it, because I dressed nice a couple of times, and photographs like you feel like you're a celeb, like paparazzi everywhere, like just because you look good. And I my very first Fashion Week, I believe I was 18, not even college yet. I got into Teen Vogue, the very best looks of New York Fashion Week, just because of the way I was dressing. So when it's New York Fashion Week, fake it till you make it. Dress crazy, dress yourself, you know, but make it look well together, and we'll get photographed too. So it's just amazing. I think because this video is kind of getting long, I'm gonna do a